Good afternoon. My name is Ellen Hayes, and I am currently the president of the Board of Trustees here at UU St. Petersburg. On behalf of the other trustees and our entire congregation, I am thrilled to welcome you to the installation of Reverend Ben Atherton-Zeman. Although I've been steeped in the operations of the church over the past few years, it was really only last week that I realized the significance of today's ceremony. Up until today, Reverend Ben has been a contract minister. He has been employed by us, the Board of Trustees. But now that we have chosen him as our settled minister, and he has chosen us, he is considered to be employed by the entire congregation, every single one of us. May today mark the beginning of a long and profound bond between Reverend Ben and the beloved community that is UU St. Petersburg. Hear, hear.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment, and you'll find it in the teal hymnal.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
What am I doing? Yeah,
Just,
that's like,
no, I didn't hear you. No, they coming up.
okay.
I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
It's been a while, folks. Wes and I are honored to give the call to worship for this service of installation of the Reverend Ben. It is a beginning of commitment for the minister and the congregation to move forward. We are gathered to affirm and support the ministry of service and love of Reverend Ben.
You know, my life has been somewhat guided by a favorite quote by George Bernard Shaw. And that quote goes like this: "My life is a kind of splendid torch that I have hold of for a moment, and I want it to burn as brightly as possible before passing it on to future generations." Well, you know what we're doing here today as colleagues and as congregants is we're passing the torch to the Reverend Ben, and may God guide and direct this torch-bearing life of his with our blessing. Amen.
And we were unclear completely on who was introducing themselves and who was not. And so this is the Reverend Wes and Barbara Stevens, former ministers here. And I'm John Motter. I'm on the worship committee here, and it's time for our chalice lighting. Please rise as you are willing or able, as you are willing or in spirit, for our chalice lighting. The flaming chalice is a reminder that we choose to focus here together for this time today, and that we believe such time is sacred. As Reverend Ben's mother Johanna Zeman and wife Lucinda Zeman lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. The words can be found within your programs and online in the text chat. Feel free to follow along with the two hand movements, hand to heart, and then hands reaching out like you're serving if you like. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now, is Cheyenne here?
I haven't seen Is it roving with the Cheyenne here?
Yes, okay, good. So now we'll have Cheyenne Hala, who will be singing Stars and Stripes by Julie Lavery.
I'm going to try to anyway. I've been in the bridal room terrified. First, I want to give a big thanks to my partner, Bailey, who has been very patient with me working through this. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I can forget the lyrics in front of a whole group of people. For anyone who's not in on the joke, that's exactly what happened last time. I also want to give a big thanks to Ben. I'm really excited for him to be the settled minister. I'm going to be honest, as office manager, him becoming settled versus contract didn't really make a difference to me, but it's a great thing, and I congratulate you. So I wanted to choose a song that kind of paid respect to how Ben and I met in the first place, and that was on the steps of City Hall, protesting. So, yeah, this is called Stars and Stripes. My sister can't afford a house and she thinks it's her fault. She says if she worked harder, she'd have money in the vault. My mother needs a surgery, her hand's always in pain. But she fell ill last April and used up all her sick days. They say the homeless need to disappear, extract them like a tumor, a stain on our society. They're all broken consumers. Don't try to put the blame on us, they ruin their own lives. It's not our fault that they got hooked on drugs that we prescribed. Stars for the silver spoons, stripes for the poor, stars for the nightly news, stripes if you oppose the war, stars if you steal the land, stripes if you take a stand, stars if you march in time, stripes if you don't fall in line. This is hard. We send our babies off to school, the children are the future. Then teach them how to hide beneath their desks for active shooters. Oh, we could make a difference if we weren't so burning tired. But who's got time to fight when we're just trying to survive? Stars for the silver spoons, stripes for the poor, stars for the nightly news, stripes if you oppose the war, stars if you steal the land, stripes if you take a stand, stars if you march in time, stripes if you don't fall in line. They want a standing ovation for the hero nation. But why should we, when the man on the corner begging for a quarter lost his legs on your orders? Sorry. Stars for the silver spoons, stripes for the poor, stars for the nightly news, stripes if you oppose the war, stars if you steal the land, stripes if you take a stand, stars if you march in time, stripes if you don't fall in line. Don't fall in line. Thank you all for that. I'm gonna go decompress because I kind of feel like I'm gonna pass out. Thank you.
So rather than make all of our visiting clergy walk up, as I fall, walk up to the stage, we thought it would be maybe easiest for you to just pass the mic and introduce yourselves and give your words of greetings. Is that?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Darrell Pulley, the spiritual leader of Today's Church Tampa Bay and the vice president of Interfaith Tampa Bay. And I have the privilege of working with Reverend Ben in Interfaith Tampa Bay. We're here to support you and to give you love and encouragement. It is important that we realize, not just in our heads, but also in our hearts, that this ministry thing is a love thing. To love God, to love ourselves, and to love everyone. Jesus, the master teacher, said, "If you love me, feed my sheep." May you be blessed in this labor of love. God bless you.
Reverend Ray Sims from Metropolitan Community Church, King of Peace in Pinellas Park. Blessings to you on your ministry here. I believe the first time we met was at a protest. It was either Trans Day of Visibility or Trans Day of Remembrance downtown in St. Petersburg. All of these issues are at the forefront, especially here in Florida. And I pray that the Holy One would bless all that you do in fighting social injustice in our state. May God bless you and your congregation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I greet you all in the joy of the Lord, who is the strength of our lives. And so Pastor Ben and I have a little history. We've shared pulpits. We've protested together. We've done some work in this community, and that work is not done. I'm Reverend Kenny Irby. I'm the pastor of historic Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church, just a couple blocks away on the other side of MLK. And I'm privileged today to be standing on behalf of our Mayor, Kenneth T. Welch, as the new Faith and Community Justice Liaison for the city. And so I will share. Amen. Give God to praise. To God be the glory. In the work of Micah 6:8, that we do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. This letter, sealed under the city of St. Petersburg, reads thusly: being confident of this very good thing. Anybody remember that? That's from Philippians, Paul's letter to the church in Philippi, chapter 1, verse 6. That he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Congratulations, Pastor Ben Atherton-Zeman. We celebrate you on your installation, and I am pleased to offer well wishes as you enter this new chapter of your leadership. It is my honor as the mayor of the city of St. Petersburg to recognize your ongoing commitment to the ministry and to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. May your service be faithful. May your service be faithful and a blessing to your membership, to the surrounding neighborhood, and to the children and families throughout the city of St. Petersburg. With gratitude and appreciation, signed, Kenneth T. Welch.
I'm Pastor Andy Oliver, pastor of Allendale United Methodist Church. About 300 years ago, my founder, John Wesley, made a commitment to be more vile. He was going to shift his ministry out of the cathedrals and into the fields with those who were oppressed and marginalized and neglected and forgotten, those that weren't welcome to come into the cathedrals. He located himself there. And as I have tried to do that as well, I keep finding you there, Ben. You get there sometimes before me, and I am honored and privileged to be a pastor in this city, committing myself to be more vile with you. Thank you.
I'm the Reverend Dee Graham. It's good to be back. Thank you. I want to say, Ben, Bienvenido a la Florida. I'm an 11th generation Floridian, but before we go there, I want to say thank you to the Topabaga, the Calusa, the Mississauga, the Seminole, and also from my area, St. Augustine. I can't remember. No, it starts with a T. Timucua, thank you. And we can't prove that the Timucua were part of my ancestors, but Los Floridanos is the group of first-generation Europeans born in Florida. We arrived in 1565. So on behalf of all my cousins, Ben, and I hope I can say this, as the affiliated community minister of the Sarasota UU, I welcome you.
It's the afternoon, right? Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Reverend Jay Wolin. I'm the settled minister at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota, and it is really my honor and pleasure to be here to honor Ben. I've worked with him on the Florida UU Ministers Association and as well as our UU cluster group, and I'm just so excited that he's going to be here for a while, and he's a good person and a good colleague, so thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Reverend Kathy Tuwicki, and I serve as the interim minister of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Boca Raton. I was first introduced to Unitarian Universalism by Fred and Winnie Foster, this congregation. Now, it was in 1976. It didn't stick. I wasn't ready for it, right? But another reason why I'm here today is you never know where your path is going to take you, right? And there is something to what you're doing today in this installation ceremony, and it has to do with your promise, your covenant, to walk with one another. And that you must always keep in front of you in order to do the good work that you will be doing in the larger world. So I wish you all the best together, and I have no doubt that you will be walk in promise and covenant with one another.
I am Jess Hunt. I am an aspirant and a conflict engagement coach with the Unitarian Universalist Association. Is it not working? Okay. I am Jess Hunt. I am an aspirant for UU ministry and a conflict engagement coach with the Unitarian Universalist Association. It is an absolute joy to be here and witness the web of community you have been sowing, hold you, and commit with you. And I am excited to see the love and trust that you're going to bring to this community. Blessed be.
Thank you all very much. And now we'll have Todd Wellman and Sam Mossmore, who will be singing A Whole New World. If I give them the microphone.
Hi, I'm Todd. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, my friend, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with
Now
you.
I'm in a whole new world with
Unbelievable
you.
sights, indescribable feeling, soaring, toppling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky. A whole new world.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
100,000
Hold your breath,
things
it
to
gets
see.
better.
I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I
A whole
used to
new
be.
world
Every turn of surprise,
with new horizons
every
to
moment
pursue.
red letter,
I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you.
a whole new world.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
100,000
Hold your breath,
things
it
to
gets
see.
better.
I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I
A whole
used to
new
be.
world
Every turn of
with new
surprise,
horizons
every
to
moment
pursue.
red letter,
I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. A whole new world. That's where we'll be.
That's where we'll be.
A thrilling chase.
A wondrous place
for you and me. Congrats.
Thank you so much. I was really happy when I saw that on the program. Now, if any children will come forward for our Time for All Ages with Aaron Powers. Please note there won't be any singing of the children off to RE classes, but there is child care is available.
Good morning. Many of y'all know me here. I'm Erin Powers, and I am an aspirant for UU Ministry. And I also do Time for All Ages many Sundays and work with our youth group. And today's story is called The Dot. Get my page up here. Excellent. All right. Now, you two, do y'all like to do art stuff? Yes. All right. So, in this story, we have a girl named Vashti. And Vashti was in art class, but it was over. And Vashti sat glued to her chair, and her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled, and she said, "Just make a mark and see where it goes." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good jab. There. And her teacher picked up the paper and studied it. She pushed the paper back to Vashti and said, "Now sign it." And Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot that she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. Blue mixed with the yellow, and she discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting. Lots of dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. And Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. And at the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's mini dots made quite a splash. And Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw." "I bet you can," said Vashti. No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." But Vashti smiled, and she handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line, and Vashti stared at the squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it." Now, my friends here, have y'all ever felt nervous or worried when you tried something new? A little bit? I know I have. Lots of people feel like that. It's normal to feel a little scared or anxious about things you've never done before. But the good thing about our church is that everybody here wants to support people like you and like me and like Reverend Ben when they try something new. And at our church, we know that it's easier if we try new things together. Reverend Ben is our minister, and he's now our settled minister, which means that he will be here for a long time. And that means we can try many new things together. Being the minister is a big, important job here at our church. And did you know that even people with big, important jobs get nervous and worried sometimes? But we all have a big, important job as well. We have to make sure that Reverend Ben and everyone here knows that we are here to support and encourage each other. And just like Vashti's art teacher in the story, I'm going to ask Reverend Ben if he would make a mark for us. So Reverend Ben, can you draw us a dot? Now sign it, please. There we go. And with that, our story ends as we welcome Reverend Ben to his settled ministry.
Thank you for a lovely story. And now John and James will be singing another one of my favorite songs, I'm Willing by Holly Near. So John Atherton and James Mack.
Reverend Ben, we would like to formally welcome you. We're so excited that you're our new settled minister, and it's pretty amazing the journey that we've already been on, even though we're just welcoming you today. I mean, I was thinking, the other day, we started in the middle of COVID, and when we finally were brave enough to see each other in real life, we started having services out on the lawn that Ben would lead us in. And so we've already been through an awful lot, but we're even more excited and happier about what's going to happen in the future. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank you for recognizing how very important music is in the life of a congregation.
I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
There is a hurting in my family,
and there is sorrow in my town.
There is a panic all across the nation,
and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty yoke to hold my confusion.
Give me a desert to hold my fear.
Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change.
I want to introduce our guest speaker, the Reverend Tyler Coles. He is a native of Roanoke, Virginia, and the only child of Monica and Terry. Inspired by the good news of Unitarian Universalism, Tyler believes that the best of our collective ministry strives towards conjuring the beloved kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. They engage this mandate personally through multiracial organizing and movement chaplaincy. Reverend Coles currently serves as a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association's Congregational Life Staff team in the Southern region, where they support faithful leadership across the American South, Caribbean, and Northern Mexico.
Good afternoon. Oh, we can do that one more time. I know it's hot. Good afternoon. Amen. I thought I was in here by myself for a moment. As John shared, I am the Reverend Byron Tyler Coles. I'm a member of your congregational life staff in the southern region where I support the faithful leadership of congregations like yourself across the American South, Caribbean, and northern Mexico. I always make a point to share that because too often times we like to retreat back as Unitarian Universalists and believe the falsity that we are just a North American religion. We are not. We are a global tradition. We have kinfolk around the world. Let us honor that this day and in all the days ahead. And with that, I bring you greetings on behalf of all of your sibling congregations, not only in the South, but across the association. It is a blessing and a gift to be here together on a day such as this. We are a part of a free tradition where the congregation picks from among us a minister to be our spiritual leader. This is not just a simple task where we check some box and send some emails to me and Christine Purcell and the transitions office. There's more to that. The search team knows this already. But it is about being in deep relationship with one another. A relationship that I knew you have already started to form, and a relationship that I hope you will continue to form and sustain in the days, weeks, months, and God willing, years ahead. May that be our prayer. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way. On the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. These are the lyrics to the much beloved hymn, Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in our gray hymnal, also known as the Singing the Living Tradition, as penned by Sally Rogers. Recently, I was gifted the opportunity to return to my home congregation in Roanoke, Virginia, where I was invited to lead worship. Somehow, during the flurry of emails and the busyness of preparing for worship that morning, I missed taking one final pass over of the order of service as I normally do. This is like Seminary 101, y'all. Wrong. As we came to the close of worship, the music director took to the keys of the piano and began to play the opening chords. And the congregation followed suit by uniting in one shared yet dynamic voice. It was like so many other moments in worship where I was struck by how things just seemed to settle in place ever so perfectly. While exceedingly rare in mundane life, I find that in worship, however, it just has a habit of happening, where things just come together. As I looked out over the congregation, the simple truths of the lyrics washed over me like never before. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Love will guide us through the hard night. Truly, I thought, we have been tried in so many ways, yet here we are. Here we are. In that spirit of being here with you, I offer today's homily entitled Past, Present, and Future, a test site for love. As a people who take the inclination of both our heads and our hearts seriously, I find that we must return to three essential questions for these times that we are now in, occasion that we have assembled for. These questions are as this: what is a useful religion? Why is religious community imperative right now? And how is entering into a new collaborative ministry significant? While I am sure you might be saying to yourself right about now, well, Reverend Tyler, where is the heart in all of those questions? You would be right at first to ask that. At first. But I think it is in the answering of these really heady questions where our hearts become centrally engaged. In a time when joy and chaos seem to chase one another like the sun and the moon, the need for a grounding, guiding force is essential. How many of us in the course of just the last several years have found ourselves feeling adrift, seemingly consumed, if not actually so, by all that we see on TV, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and. Now don't worry, I am not going to ask you to raise your hand or confess aloud because I already know the answer. The answer is, it has been all of us. The world and much of what we have been taught as true has shown itself to be fleeting at best over these last few years. This is tedious, frustrating, bewildering even. How could so much be changing in such a relatively short period of time? Many wonder. And I will admit, on several occasions, I have said to God herself, ma'am, seriously, can we get a break already? Come on now, enough is enough. Though my prayers may be cheeky, because they are, when I allow my head and my heart to communicate to one another, and I slow down just a bit to counter the frenzy of life, I am brought back to this. I am brought back to the faith that I came to know well over a decade ago in Roanoke, Virginia, as a high schooler seeking solace and mercy. I am brought back to the faith that we share in this space today. It is in the moments of sorrow and anger, joy and jubilation that we find an expansive framework of meaning-making as Unitarian Universalists that bind up the brokenhearted, call us into communities of mutual care and respect, and beckon us to liberating transformation. All of which reminds us of the one truth that I have found non-fleeting. The truth that love is ever present. Yet such a framework of understanding, of perceiving the world around us is complete without actually being in the world, y'all. There is an inclination within our tradition as liberal religious folk that often seeks to recess back into the cold and respectable confines of intellectual thought alone, refined to armchairs and keyboards. Yet that is not enough, nor has it ever been enough, especially as faithful people with as prophetic values as we proclaim that we have. But in truth, we must be in community with one another. For it is in community side by side, day in and day out, where we gather in our pursuits to make meaning out of the mundane and the sublime alike, and to test out our conclusions alongside the revelations and knowings of each other. For without one another, we become lost. We become estranged even from the revealing forces of goodness, truth, and mercy, which uniquely appear when two or more are gathered. Religious community is an imperative in times like these. It is an imperative in times like these, no matter what the Pew Forum or the like may say,
because we know the power of binding our hearts together. Binding our hearts together, we know the power of being known and witnessed to, or at least that is what many of us come to these halls and churches seeking. For we are each other's guides in the journey of transformation and stewards of love, sharing it generously, recklessly, even with all whom we meet. And it is here, beloveds, it is here that we practice it rigorously, passionately, faithfully, what it means to be a people which hold the truth that love reveals and redeems all things. It is not easy. It is not easy. Heck, it isn't even cute, as us young folk like to say, but it is a worthy cause, which we have received from those who have gone before us. It is essential because isolation comes with a damning and deadly price, much too hard to pay anymore. With a useful framework that guides us in knowing that love is ever present, and with an openness and willingness to escape from the snares of isolation into the warm embrace of community, we come to the fullness of our religious assemblies, that which is collaborative ministry. From one of the often quoted lines from his essay entitled Faith and Freedom, 20th century theologian James Luther Adams says, "I call the church free, which in covenant with the divine community-forming power brings the individual, even the unacceptable, into a caring, trusting fellowship that protects and nourishes their integrity and spiritual freedom." Meaning the aim of the church is to bring us, even in our moments of utter despair, into a community of believers who proclaim to one another our inherent worth and dignity, even when we forget it ourselves. We proclaim love to one another even when we think we are unlovable ourselves. This is our work. It is a reminder that God, the Spirit of life, love, resides within and around us, and it is still beckoning us onwards, forever in wake of the greatest ache from within our souls or the deepest sorrow and anger we have come to experience. In the moment of coming face to face with our absolute brokenness, we have not and we will not be forsaken. I want to repeat that again. We will not be forsaken. Again, in a time like this, I often see, and I often feel it myself, that forsakenness feels like a default. But I want to remind us that we have not been forsaken. Adams goes on to say the church goal is the prophethood and priesthood of all believers, the one for the liberation of prophesying, and the other for the ministry of healing. It therefore protests against the infringement of autonomy and participation, whether it be in the church, the state, the family, the daily work or lack thereof, or in other social spheres. In a state of well-being, of creative interchange, of faithful rigorousness, the church is a container of shared participation rooted in mutual choice among its people to be together. Ain't nobody forced y'all to be here. Furthermore, a free church such as ours must aid folk in the task of being free. A free church must aid folk in the task of being free. Freedom, theologically speaking, which is concerned simultaneously with the mind, body, and spirit, is the state of wholeness, of not only knowing our belovedness, but aiding others to know the same as well. Love, then, is our salvation, for it is the causeway in which we become whole, again and again if needed, and are returned back to being and knowing our original state of belovedness. That is our task. Now, this is the unscripted part I was told to go with. So I was raised in the black church. I'm going to hold on to the pulpit because if I get free with the Spirit, I'm going to be dancing in the aisles. Thank you. Pastor, come on now. Now, while I am off script, I want to remind you that this church is over 100 years old. Come on now. We can celebrate that. It is the third oldest Unitarian and or Universalist community in the state of Florida, and over 100 is pretty darn old for Southern congregations. This congregation was formed amid the backdrop of rapid change and advancement, and atrocious accounts of violence and brutality, most notably in the forms of public lynching. Principally organized in 1914 by Pearl Cole, this congregation was organized by two principal families to be a liberal spiritual community that would aid the St. Pete community. Days and nights, beloveds, ups and downs they saw, but they persisted. This building, not only a brick and mortar and beautiful wood, might I add, and still didn't just pop up, but it is your inheritance from ancestors that have already gone. And I hope you understand that this will be the inheritance that I pray that you pass on to those who were still to come. Days in and days out, women particularly organized to sustain this church that we might be here today to call forth a new minister. This is no small feat, beloved. It is hard work because church has always been hard, because church is operating and working to change the world and make it upright again, to bring forth the beloved community from the hell that we have sometimes released upon it. Here, this community has waged love, has been a test site time and time again, ups and downs, nights and days, not giving it right always, but here you still are. And that's just your past. Today, your ministry today includes the public advocacy for queer and trans youth and young adults and elders in the state of Florida. That is a mighty task. Efforts to feed your homeless neighbors in town. That is a mighty task, beloveds. Supporting immigrants and migrants, beloveds. That is a mighty task. To aid in the formation of current and next generations of faithful changemakers in our youth through religious education, that is a mighty task. To proclaim the goodness and presence of love as it moves among us, that is a mighty task. Beloveds, you are a test site of love. You are a test site of love, proclaiming the good news that we have not been forsaken, we have not been lost, for we are held in a love and care that will change us. So I ask you, members of the St. Pete community, then, what will you do with your future? As I prepared for today's homily, I browsed your website, and I found your mission. Our mission is to be an inclusive, evolving religious community that inspires spiritual and intellectual growth to make our world a better place. Those are not just words on a piece of paper or on a website. It is your driving document, your essential document. It is the instructions that you have taken upon yourself to be this test site of love for future generations. Proclaim it boldly, beloveds. I hope over the course of the next 100 years, you will continue to be prophetic. You will continue to be imaginative. You will continue to be loving, continuing on in your discernment of knowing what love is and how it moves among you. And I hope you take this particular moment in your history to enter into collaborative ministry once more, to continue in the course to be yet again a test site for love. May it be so.
Thank you very much, Reverend Tyler. And I don't think there's any hardened hearts in the sanctuary today. And it's really strange that we did not talk about what he was going to say today, because now is the time for the offering. And what I had planned to say, I'll go ahead and say it. Our church has been here for roughly 100 years. And so today is just a snapshot of its history. Former ministers who, for those that are new, I'm also the one that cries a lot when I'm up on the pulpit. So my brother used to be here, and he was another crier, but he's moved away. Former ministers and congregants, screw the roots. That provide a rich history of where we have been. Reverend Ben and all of us will continue to nourish and sustain the roots, as well as the branches and the foliage that reach out into the greater community. The offering today will go towards our operating fund in order that the chapters that our shared ministry with Reverend Ben Wright will sustain us well into the future. And why I ever suggested reading Cass to Cynthia Patterson as our book reading this summer, I'll never know, hence the tears. But the offering will now be received. What's given in love is received with great joy, and we say thank you. Next up, we'll do the charge to the congregation with Reverend Amy Kindred.
Good afternoon. I'm the Reverend Amy Kindred. I can't believe it. I am a seasoned minister. I saw Dee and I got to thinking, Dee, you were here back in 2012 when I came to Florida to serve our congregations. So it's good to see you, knowing that so many of our clergy have retired, and I'm probably not far behind. I'm the developmental minister, and people have said who don't know what developmental ministry in Unitarian Universalism, what that is. They say, oh, are you a new minister? And they said, no, I'm one who has had all this training, extra training, so that our congregations indeed set goals and follow those goals. So that's what I'm doing in Clearwater, Florida. I'm so happy to be invited to be with you today. This is the charge to the congregation or the care and keeping of your new settled minister. I'm going to ask, this is a test, Reverend Ben. I'm going to ask, 3 times I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. But this first time, I'm going to say, this is your charge. Practice love and integrity with Reverend Ben. Will you repeat after me? We will practice love together. We will practice love together. They did it. They rolled with us. For the care and keeping of Reverend Ben, I invite you to provide lots of gluten-free, dairy-free cookies and lots of grace. Require that Reverend Ben take time off to rest. Cynthia Landrum, a dear, supportive minister who was going to be here today, but because of a brush with someone who has COVID, couldn't be here. When I called Cynthia, I said, I don't know, Cynthia, what shall we share with the congregation? She said, you tell them to make Reverend Ben take time off. That is your charge. Ministry is extremely rough in normal times. As you all know, these are more challenging times than ever here in Florida. Provide a space here for Reverend Ben to fully understand that he is deeply loved and needed here. Please repeat after me. We will practice love together. We will practice love together. Thank you. Embrace Reverend Ben for who he is, a minister with a sense of humor, a strong sense of play, and a deep commitment to advocate for change in creative ways. Every minister is different and unique. Avoid looking for the frayed edges and celebrate the comedy that is woven into sermons. In the same way that Reverend Ben will be gentle with you in times when you aren't your most evolved self, be gentle with your minister. Repeat after me. We will practice love together. We will practice love together. Thank you. Finally, practice this shared or collaborative ministry with love and continued integrity. Abide by a covenant of love and right relation. And finally, recent training in New Orleans, a new to be a Reverend Patty Hanks, and I went to New Orleans this past week, and when we got in, the Lyft driver from the airport, he asked where we were from, and before we got out, he said, So great. Now welcome to New Orleans and turn it up. Patty and I looked at each other and he turned around and he goes, that means have some fun. So listen, it's hard work, this advocacy for justice and equity. Don't forget that joy is the medicine that helps us to keep going. Turn it up. May it be so.
Thank you so much, Reverend Amy. And now the charge to the minister with Reverend Allison Palm.
Yeah? Yeah, that's perfect. Because I'm talking to you, but mostly I'm talking to him. So I am Reverend Allison Palm, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashua, where Reverend Ben did his internship. And so I bring with me greetings and love from the people of UU Nashua. Reverend Ben, they remember your joy and enthusiasm. They definitely remember Kermit and Elmo. They remember your caring heart and your fire for justice. And they wanted me to share that they are so excited for you and for the people of UU St. Pete as you start this new stage of your shared ministry together. Now, as Reverend Ben's former supervisor, I should be pretty good at this job I have today, offering a charge. After all, that's minister code for telling Ben what to do. But Ben may remember that our supervision sessions were often much more about me asking questions than telling him exactly what to do. So instead of jumping into my long list of ministry pro tips, I want to start by sharing a story. Now, this is a story about Moses, and some of you may know it, but it comes a little later on in the Exodus story. After Moses has already been called by the burning bush, after he has convinced Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery, after he has parted the Red Sea and led the Israelites out of Egypt and into the desert. After all of this leadership, God tells Moses to come up to the top of Mount Sinai to receive the law and to bring it back to the people. Now, Moses stayed up there for 40 days. And while he was up there, his people began to get a little nervous and suspicious. What is he doing up there? They asked one another. Why is he taking so long? Why did he lead us into this desert anyway? It's really hot, right? And so, even though they had just agreed not to worship idols, they made a golden calf and began to worship it. Not sure that they could trust this Moses guy after all. And of course, this is exactly when Moses comes down the mountains carrying the tablets of the law and finds his people, who he loves, and who he had totally trusted to keep it all together while he was away. He finds them worshiping that golden calf. Now, the Bible tells us that he was so angry and disappointed that he threw down those tablets and they shattered. I like to think of this as Moses' moment of disillusionment, when he realizes that religious leadership is as filled with disappointment as it is filled with hope and joy. This is the moment that he realizes how hard it is to lead a people. And so he is so discouraged that he throws down those tablets, or perhaps, I like to think that maybe they slipped from his grasp, as he is suddenly unsure of his ability to hold it all together anymore. Now I wonder, Reverend Ben, have you ever had moments like this in your ministry? Now, I haven't heard any stories yet of you smashing things, but maybe you felt like you might want to smash something? Maybe you felt things just slipping from your grasp as you wonder whether you've got it in you to hold it all together. Maybe you've doubted yourself or your calling. All of this is inevitable in ministry.
the disappointment, the doubt, the overwhelm. There are some things that haven't changed in these last 3,000 years or so. There will be days when these good people with whom you are about to covenant will break your heart. When you are so angry and disappointed that you want to smash something and give up. There will be days when you doubt your call. There will be days when it all seems like a little too much to hold, when important things slip from your grasp because the weight of it all is just too much. Having served here for 3 years already, I am sure that there have been such days. And what I want you to know is that the success of your ministry is not about avoiding those days, but instead about how you move through them. So my charge for you is not about striving for perfection, which I know you're not about, or ensuring that you never struggle in this work, because you will, but instead about how you keep going when this ministry is harder than you ever thought it could be. What do you do when the disappointment is too sharp? When the people don't live up to your optimism? When those messy parts of ministry, which is a lot of it, are overwhelming the rest? Now, the first step, and I sense a theme here, is often to take a break, right? Get some space, turn off that email, restore the balance in your life. Maybe take a nap. Do something to nurture your relationships outside of ministry. Walk on the beach. Enjoy that gorgeous sunset you've got here. Second, reach out to your people. Connect with your colleagues. I know that you know where to find them. Vent or cry. Laugh at the absurdity of it all. Remember that you are not the only one who's doing this impossible work, and that it is nearly always easier when we do it together, right? Third, remember why it is that you do this work. I know that you came here to Florida in part because you knew that you have enough privilege not to be at risk here, and you hoped you might have enough courage to make a difference. And I can't tell you how grateful those of us up in the north are to have solid, justice-oriented colleagues like you in places like this where so many of our values are under threat. You have a deep faith in the ability of good people working together to create a better world. When you are stuck in the weeds of budgets and buildings and tricky personalities, remember that bigger picture, the reason that you are here in this work. And finally, this is the simplest but perhaps also the hardest. Just as I told you on your ordination day, remember that you are enough, just as you are, right? Now, when God called Moses back up to the mountain to get that second set of tablets, because sometimes you need two, I like to think that God had more than one motivation. It doesn't say so in the Bible, but I've decided that God gave Moses some time to rest up there on the mountain. It had been a long journey after all. Maybe God let him vent or cry or laugh at the absurdity of it all, this leading people thing. And then I think God probably gave Moses a little pep talk before sending him back down the mountain. Maybe God reminded him why his leadership mattered. Maybe God simply reminded Moses that he was enough. So on those days, when ministry breaks your heart, maybe you can take an imaginary trip up Mount Sinai. Take a break. Reach out to your colleagues. Remember why you do this work, and know that you are enough. And once you've done all of that, maybe you'll be ready to head back down that mountain and take up this sacred, beautiful, heartbreaking, and heart-filling work of ministry once again. Thank you so much.
This song was written by a gentleman named Labi Sifra, and he is of South African heritage, but living in England. And he became quite a good singer-songwriter and had quite a profession going on, and he decided to give it up. He didn't like the music business, but he was watching television and seeing what was going on in the apartheid struggle in South Africa. And he picked up a pencil and he wrote this song in about 2 hours. The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, there's something inside so strong. Oh no, something inside so strong.
need to stand up for this. No right is more precious to a free congregation than that of choosing its own minister. By the same token, no right is more precious to a Unitarian Universalist minister than that of choosing the congregation they will serve. The coming together of congregation and minister assumes special significance when there is involved, as here, a great tradition of liberal leadership. It is with profound feeling, therefore, that we formally recognize the relationship now existing between the people of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg and the Reverend Ben Atherton-Zeman, who we have freely chosen and who has freely chosen us. Our choice is based not only on our heritage, but also upon the hopes and aspirations we hold for the future. This service symbolizes our dedication to new efforts. Will the members of UU St. Pete please rise in body or in spirit and join me in the following words. We offer you a free pulpit, the cooperation of our hearts and hands, and our trust and goodwill as you take up your work among us. We call you to teach, inspire, and challenge us as we work for greater justice, nurture and explore spirituality, learn and grow. We covenant with you to support you in this leadership. We call you to share with us our joys and sorrows and serve us in love. Therefore, we, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, do hereby install you, Ben Atherton-Zeman, as our minister with great rejoicing. Yay!
Better? There we go.
Modeling imperfection.
With gratitude, a deep sense of responsibility, and great rejoicing, I accept the ministry to which you have called me. I pledge to follow our mission, speak our truths, and serve our faith and this church. I will do this with integrity and love, neither seeking nor offering perfection. I will work to nurture justice and spiritual growth, both here with you and in the larger world. Thank you for calling me as your minister.
This is an installation prayer, and I know that both of us worked really hard to get you here at this moment, so I'm so glad to be here to offer this prayer today for Reverend Ben. And this is an excerpt from Richard Bell. At this installation for Reverend Ben, let us be attendant now upon hope, faith, and love, here in the conjunction of past and future. and the meeting place of knowledge and mystery. Let us enter more fully into a questing spirit and pray. Let us, gathered as a congregation today, for both the solemn and joyful purpose, pray for this church and this minister, Reverend Ben, for the steadfast love of each for the other, a love strong enough for honest confrontation, deep enough for the shared expression of hurt, wide enough for the mutual acts of mercy, plentiful enough to be a support in the years of work ahead. We pray that we work together with respect for each other and the common good they call each other to discern. May that include a godly justice and a goodly peace, both within and beyond the immediate boundaries of UUSP. May they be dancers, lovers, fishers, artists, reformers and seers, nurses and nurturers, healers and helpmates, both with and for each other, with and for the world around them. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts, may every prayer and meditation, spoken and silent, howsoever directed during the service of installation and during all the days of this ministry, be in keeping with the most generous ideals and the most inclusive aspirations of this church and our association of churches. And now abide hope, faith, and love. May they abide within you and between you. May they be a blessing always amongst you. Thus we pray for this day and all days. Amen. And now I'd like for Karen, Frank, and Ellen to come up and for Reverend Ben to come down.
This was the stole they gave to me at UU Nashua.
Reverend Ben, we would like to present you with this stole today on the joyous occasion of your installation of our settled minister of UU St. Pete.
And there's an inscription in there. Wait. Reverend Ben, this tree on the stole represents our interdependent web of all existence. The roots represent our UU principles and values. The trunk represents our love we have for one another here at UUSP and for other marginalized groups in the world. The branches represent the different paths that we can take and our own beliefs. The leaves represent the memories that we have made together and will make in the future here at this church and in the community. The fruit represents our diverse attributes and personalities, and the vibrant colors represent the hope we have moving forward together with love and justice here at UUSP and out into the world.
No. You can if you want to, though. No, okay. going to call Reverend Christina Spody up to this to do the prayer and laying on of hands.
I am the Reverend Christina Spouty, and I am delighted to get to lead an ancient and time-honored ritual, which has traditionally been called the laying on of hands. This ritual dates back to the early Christian church and was used to signify that a person was ready to spread the teachings of Rabbi Jesus. It was a physical demonstration of a community's affirmation of support for their person. Now, in our religious tradition, we have returned to this ritual in recognition that ministry can be rough, but we do not go it alone. And all along the way, Reverend Ben will need to know that we have affirmed our support of your shared ministry. Our friend and colleague, the Reverend Misha Sanders, also noted recently that one part of why she loves this ritual is because it affirms that the person's body and their bodily presence are sacred. This goes beyond all of our pretty words and gets down to the radical celebration of the body in this life, in this world. That is foundational to our theologies and this beautiful, fully embodied faith of ours. Reverend Ben knows that while he has a particular and important role in this congregation, today's service is about the relationships in the congregation and the promises that you make to one another. It is about the ministry you are called to do together in these ridiculous, astonishing, oh my goodness, what have we signed up for times in our nation and in our world. And you have already begun a relationship of shared ministry in a post-quarantine yet still quite isolated time. And it is important today that you know in your soul that you are not alone. You are not alone in your struggles, in your healing of the past, in your crucial work of this weird present, and in your visions for our future. You are not alone in grappling with the impacts of a culture of hierarchy that looks for all the world like it is winning sometimes. You are not alone in learning to be in accountable and kind relationships with one another. You are not alone and have never been. We are in these struggles with you, and we are cheering you on just as we need you to cheer all of us on to stay committed to the work of manifesting more love in this world. If you are here with us online, we are so glad that you have joined us, connected to us through time and space, through the blessing of technology. We feel you there, and please feel free to greet each other, as I'm sure you have already done, and celebrate in the text chat. Before we do anything else, I want you to take a moment now. We are all going to take a moment now and take in some deep breaths. I want you to imagine that you have roots that keep you grounded in this moment, in this place. And to imagine, too, that you have branches that reach up to the sun and the moon, as if you and we are held in place by the earth, but are always also seeking the greatness of the universe. Feel the love they provide for us in your body. You gonna head down there? Yes. All right. Now, Lucinda, Johanna,
Any other friends who are basically family, please head on down over to where Reverend Ben is going to go, down to that center point in the sanctuary. You gonna go down? Okay. We're gonna channel beloved Lufa's presence here in memoriam, because I know she's on your hearts. And if there are any of those who could not be here today, whose presence you would like to call into this space, please do so now. That goes for Reverend Ben and everyone here. If you are a member of the Board of Trustees, come on in next, please. You are an essential leadership team in this ministry, and we are here to bless you today as you bless Reverend Ben and each other. If you, like me, are a colleague of Ben's, I would like to invite us to hold this moment of shared ministry in especially high honor by doing the opposite of what you may think that I'm going to ask of us. Beloved colleagues, I believe it is our role today to hold the space and create the container for this minister and this congregation. And so in that spirit, I would like to invite all of my ministerial colleagues, clergy and ministers, including those in formation, UU or otherwise, directors of religious education, musicians, administrators, membership professionals, UUA staff, if you are clergy or staff, let us create a large circle around the perimeter of this room from which we will extend our hands toward Ben and this beloved congregation. If there is anything that reminds us that we do not do this work alone, I believe it is this. Stretch out, leave room between yourselves so that we can encircle the entire room. May we think to our colleague, the Reverend Dr. Leslie Takahashi's words. No holding hands necessary. Welcome, but not necessary. And as we do this, may we think to our colleague, the Reverend Dr. Leslie Takahashi's words that the margins hold the center. Now I invite the remaining members of this congregation, the UU Church of St. Pete, forward to lay hands on Reverend Ben or on Reverend Ben's nearest family member, and then ultimately on each other as the group grows. So if you are a member of this congregation, please rise as you are able and put your hand out toward Reverend Ben or his family or a board member. And simultaneously, we invite those congregants who are physically present but would rather not participate in physical touch. Please join the circled cloud of witnesses around the perimeter. You've already spread out and plenty of space, so just find a spot if that speaks to you near one of my beautiful and super cool colleagues. And now the rest of you, neighbors, friends, people who wandered in because you heard there were snacks afterwards. We know. People from the community, this is your church too, because you are here and you are loved and you are welcome. We invite all the rest of y'all to join us either in the no physical touch preacher perimeter or come forward to touch and be a part of this gathered body of believers in each other and in Reverend Ben and in the powerful shared ministry in this place. Beloveds who have joined us online, please do add your hands, your hearts, your intentions, and prayers to this moment by placing your hand up to your camera, even though it is not working right now. Because obviously that is the most direct way for energy to travel, so that it may be felt by us in our spirits. If you can and will, we're going to take a moment to breathe, to look around this room and see beloveds also engaged in this shared ministry. Shared ministry invites us to build relationships in new ways from different perspectives. This is Reverend Ben's day, but it is all of your and our days, Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Pete, and we hope and pray that you can feel how valuable you are in this beloved community. I want you to remember that feeling of roots and branches and all of us being held in the wide open world and a love that has space for each and all of us. Reverend Ben, today we give physical form to the spiritual truth that we are all indeed connected, that we all depend upon one another more than we know. If we have learned anything from the past very few hard years, I hope we have learned more every day, that our interdependence, that we breathe each other's very air. Our illusions of separateness have been revealed, and there is no going back. We are in this together, like it or not, and there is no other way, never has been another way, and it's not looking very good for any other way to show up in the future. We are all we've got. And you know the best part of that is that we are enough. Reverend Ben, you are enough. Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Pete, you are enough. And not just barely. You are abundant in love and in just radiating out of everywhere in here today. Reverend Ben, may you always know that you are enough all by yourself, and may you never, ever feel you have to prove it. May you never forget that a great cloud of witnesses has your back, and you know lots of our phone numbers. I know you know mine. Here, I might remind you to use them, but I know you already do, because you called me on my way here. UU Church of St. Pete, may you know that while you are strong leaders and supporters of each other, this is also a place for you to rest, to be fed, to be ministered to. Use it. Reverend Ben and UU St. Pete, may your boundaries and your love lead you to be empathetic in your no's and enthusiastic in your yeses. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
We'll just take a few minutes while they set up for a special feature that hopefully Reverend Ben has not found out about, because it had been a secret. Oh, you're beating me to it. Yes, you're doing your part. Trying to get to that page in the script, so yes.
What's the surprise, though? My name is Ben Atherton-Zeman. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the settled minister here. The colonizers call this town St. Petersburg, and this is the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, but my colleague Reverend D. Graham was white to remind us that this is the unceded ancestral lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole people, as well as many other native peoples. And I am here to offer the benediction. Last night my mother reminded me that she named me Benedict, which means blessing, and I feel so blessed right now and feel blessed today by your presence. I offer you this blessing in return. May you be blessed by the wisdom, guidance, and love from your ancestors, as I have been by my Irish and German ancestors, the Von Tysons, the O'Sullivans, and many others. Like Reverend Christina before me, I call them by name, and I invite you to do the same, saying the names of your ancestors out loud right now. Atherton-Zeman, Martha Tews, Luella Atherton, Fran Atherton. Online, please type the names of your ancestors into the text chat. May you be blessed with family as caring, loving, fun, and smart as mine. My mother, Johanna Zeman, my wife and partner, Lucinda Zeman, are both here, and I love you both. May you be blessed with friends as funny, kind, loyal as mine are. Some of our friends are here in the sanctuary. Many others are on YouTube watching online. May you be blessed with colleagues who share the essential work that you do. I am so honored that my fellow Unitarian Universalist ministers are here alongside religious colleagues from other denominations, and I will continue to rely on you for guidance, for friendship, and I hope you'll rely on me for the same. May you be blessed with encouraging, kind, and challenging teachers, like the teachers I had at the Boston University School of Theology, where the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. became doctor. And over again, my biggest teacher, who I've told you about, my teaching pastor, Reverend Allison Palm, is here today. Thank you for coming all the way here from New Hampshire. May you be blessed with spectacular coworkers like I have. I can't believe how lucky I am, and you've met some of them performing or doing the religious education. And remember that show, The A-Team? I work with an A-team of staff, and it's an honor to do this work alongside you. May you be blessed with leaders in your congregation who bring joy, love, and hard work to the ministry that you do, and I'm so thankful to you all today, and in particular to the many of you who worked on today's event, on this installation, under the leadership of the amazing Sabina von Allach. Is Sabina around? Sabina von Allach, everyone, thank you. May you be blessed with music and song the way we have been blessed today by musicians, by singers, by bell ringers, by choir directors. May you remember that you are connected to one another and to the earth. As we pagans say, the earth is our mother, we must take care of her. May you feel the presence of something larger than yourself. For some, this is God or Jesus. For me, it's Mother Goddess, and the divine energy I believe to be everywhere in everyone. And may you have the opportunity to do good work in the place where that work needs doing. We are in the state of Florida, and we have important work to do here. In the state of Florida, we must continue to say that Black lives matter, that we should ban racism, not books about racism. The decisions about abortion should not be made by the government. In the state where other houses of worship kick adults and children out for being gay, for being trans, for being themselves, we need to let them know they're always welcome here. May you always know that the work will continue. I'm adding this part at the end. When you are not there. Lucinda and I are, in fact, taking 2 weeks vacation after tomorrow. And may you always remember that you are not alone, and you never were. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Oh, hello. Just catching up on my reading of you.
There were a few folks that couldn't be here today, and they wanted to send Ben their special greetings. So that's what this is all about.
Oh, hello. Just catching up on my reading of Unitarian and Universalist history. Ben, I think you should be doing that too. Back when Ben and I were in high school together, he was given an award by the teachers as being the student most inspiring to teach. It gave the faculty real meaning to teach someone as enthusiastic and receptive as Ben. Well, Ben, I think you found your place now as you continue to inspire others through your words, actions, and deeds. I congratulate you on your installation as the minister of the UU Church in St. Petersburg. Ben Atherton-Zeman, your quest is at an end.
Hi, Ben. We are the Mahjong group representing the folks who couldn't be here to say how thrilled we are for you and the continuation of your calling.
Hey, Ben, it's Barbara. And it's one of the proudest moments of my 20-year ministry that I was one of those who sponsored you for ordination in UU. Good luck.
Very excited for you, Ben. Very happy. I'm glad that you are where you want to be, doing what you want to do, and I hope that your people realize how lucky they are to have you.
Hi, Ben. I've seen that you've dedicated your life to helping people and to inclusiveness, and that is what you're doing at the church. When I was there in December, I could see it, and I could see how well you fit into that church, and we're all so happy for you.
And don't forget, Ben, the old joke among pastors, refrigerators are installed, but pastors are instituted. Happy birthday!
Ben, you have worked so hard and held so fast to your dream of leading a congregation as a settled pastor. It has been a privilege to watch you through this journey. I'm so proud of you, Ben, and I love you.
Congratulations, Ben. I can't think of anyone who deserves this post at UU St. Pete more than you. That's because you spent a lifetime trying to make the world a better place. The St. Pete itself deserves you because you have developed the way to have dialogues with everyone from different walks of life. And I know during your journey, you will be able to apply these skills at St. Pete in your work with parishioners and also with groups in order to continue to make the world a better place. Again, congratulations, Ben, and the best of luck with this new post. You certainly deserve it.
Hi, Ben and the UUs of St. Pete. Congratulations on affirming your relationship together on this very special occasion. I'm the Reverend Dr. Cynthia Landrum, and I was Ben's minister technically before he started seminary, although he's been a minister really at heart for years. I'm so glad you found each other and that you voted in covenantal ways to affirm this relationship and continue it forward into the future. Congratulations and best wishes for your journey together, and I hope that I'm there in person before long.
Kermit the Frog here with my good friend Elmo.
Hi, Kermit.
Big doings at that church on Mirror Lake today. Our friend Ben is being institutionalized.
I think you mean installed, Elmo.
Installed? You mean like a dishwasher?
Sort of.
Oh, he's a great guy, isn't he? I heard he's a W minister.
Oh, what?
A W minister.
Oh, I don't think you understand, Elmo. He's a U minister.
Wait, a W minister.
No, it's U for Unitarian and U for Universalist.
Wow, that's kind of a complicated name. What do they believe in?
Nobody seems to know. I think you'd like it over there.
Well, you know, I really don't like any organized religions.
Oh, don't worry. They're very disorganized. You fit right in.
Oh. Hey, is it true that Ben is living here full time now?
Yep.
Well, why does he still wear that Red Sox cap all the time?
I think they have a committee trying to figure that out.
Oh, hey, Kermit, I wonder if they're going to have cool cake and cookies and Coke over there after the service.
You know, I'll bet they are.
Maybe we should go over there.
Great idea, Elmo. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I think that was okay.
Oh, my back.
Oh,
Word is, we're skipping the final hymn, the recessional hymn, and so if everybody would just extinguish the flame. That was not in... Are the words in that? Okay. Well, as Ben extinguishes the flame, we'll say our words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. And now we can go next door for refreshments and celebration. Thank you, everybody, so much.